LAT Racing Oils is invested in winning. With industry-leading at-track support, superior engineering, blending technology, and the World Championships to prove it, LAT is your premier choice for racing lubricants. Used by NHRA Pro Mod champions Jose Gonzalez and Chris Thorne, along with their closest competitors, LAT Racing Oil continues to carry top-level racers to the winner's circle in all categories of competition. From engine oil to transmission fluid and gear oil, LAT has you covered from end to end in your race car. A nationwide dealer network means easy access to our products as well. Visit LATRacingOils.com for more.
Alrighty, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Simtrax Broadcasting. It is Wednesday night, which means we head out here to Texas Motor Speedway with the Bandit Racing League for the Everything is Better in Texas 135. Excellent race we've got lined up for you guys here tonight. Drivers are currently sitting down in pit road for their drivers meeting. Qualification has come to a completion there. Hopefully, we cross our fingers for no breakups out there in the stream that we were fighting last week. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for hanging in there while we did have a little battle out there with our streaming service and our system out there. It should be going well. I see everybody out there wishing Miss Lucia a happy birthday. Appreciate you joining us here tonight. Go ahead and give us a shout out and let us know you are tuned in. Let's go ahead and take a look at tonight's race at this mile-and-a-half track that is going to be really making everybody scream at the top of their lungs. They are saying this car feels like garbage out there on the track, but they have 135 laps that they've got to figure it out. Unfortunately, they won't be able to make any sort of adjustments out there as this is a fixed setup league. Move on to 70% fuel limit. They have 4 sets of tires down there in the pits, a single fast repair, and a 75-degree track temperature, which to me at this time of year, that's insane. I wouldn't think of anything less than 100 degrees. So extremely cold out there on the track for currently when we're racing. So we'll see how they can hold on to it there in this 75-degree air temperature. All right, appreciate you, LAT Racing Oils, for bringing us our starting race information here tonight, as these guys are going to be getting around the track. Eddie Hagge looking to have a better time than he did last week, unfortunately having a few wrecks out there and getting smushed around. And he would love to come away with a better finish here tonight. David Lakey has been on track here for quite some time, looking to lay down the last few laps as this track temperature may have caught some of these drivers off guard here. Not quite exactly what they had expected nor what they had practiced for. They were fighting really around about 15 degrees hotter than what they currently are now. I do make a big deal out of the track temperature out there tonight, because it is going to matter how these cars handle through turn 1 and 2, which is the treacherous turn everybody is petrified of out here tonight, as they go down the front stretch and get a ton of speed through that D-shaped oval. They sling into turn number 1. The banking just isn't there anymore as they have flattened it out, and it is really catching these guys kind of off guard here with low-profile tires out there on the next-gen car. All right, we are getting very, very close. I am sure that you guys already know that right now we are starting to get, right to the cusp out there of the playoffs, and that's going to be pretty tough out there for the guys who want who want to break in, who want to make that next piece of this race. And right now, as we head into Texas, currently we are looking at Phoenix, Kansas, Chicago Street, Darlington. This is going to be pretty rough. So right now, we break into the round of 12 starting in Kansas. These are the last 2 races. They've got to really hash it out here. Texas and Phoenix will be it. So the second to last races, these guys will be on edge out there, whether or not this is going to be their race and their time to shine. Now remember, this is a no-win and in situation, and they're going to see how they can do it. Connor Gibson, we're taking a look at now. Out there in the 31 Chevrolet, the only lone Toyota will be John Osborne. Seem to be a little bit of a low car count tonight. We still have over 20 drivers, but I would think Texas would bring a lot of people out here I know Texas definitely keeps guys on their toes, and I know, so word through the grapevine out there is no one, I mean absolutely no one is really excited about this race. But I've got to really tip our hats off to the admins out there for going ahead and choosing this track. It might be checking up and trading everybody out to see, you know, who can be strong here. Some are saying it's going to be Nick Nickerson here. Some are saying it's going to be Benjamin Lacey. You know, would Benjamin Lacey have an opportunity to come away with a win here? But oddly enough, I am not currently seeing Benjamin Lacey out there on the track. So we'll go ahead and give a shout out there to Marshall Crocker. He's actually calling for John Osborne in the 81 to possibly come away with the win here tonight. And I guarantee out there in that surge machine, there is definitely a possibility for that to happen. We may have a chat there with John Osborne and see how he feels on tonight's race and what all he has lined up for us here tonight. And I definitely expect to see him trying his hardest with the team that he is working with Bob Berry, Kevin Foster, and Nick Nickerson. As I tune in here, we get John Osborne here in the booth in the 81 Toyota. Favorite pick tonight by Marshall Crocker out there. John, how's it feeling out there on the track?
Well, if I wouldn't have hit the wall in qualifying, then I think I probably had a shot at the pole. But unfortunately, I hit the wall off at 2. Car feels good. Ran the practice race last night. Felt real good. It does seem, though, like later in the run, once, you know, your tire's a little worn out, it seems like there's that, like, you know, 2/10 bubble to the car in front of you. And it's just really hard to get by. So I'm going to adjust some things for tonight in the race and just, you know, try to save tires and slowly make my way up through the field. I really want it to go green. I think that'll benefit me with how I save tires. But the car feels good. I ran good here last year, and hopefully we got a shot at the end of the night.
Yeah, not only saving tires, we have also taken a look at your fuel mileage there. We almost joke at times, you, Kevin Foster, and I believe one other driver out there, if I'm not mistaken, Sean Britt, come down and hit a little bit early. Let's say if we end up with an early caution on lap number 9. I have seen you guys come down into pit early to try to top off on fuel. With this having stages here, does that still remain true?
With having the one stage, I think we're at lap 48 tonight. You know, I think I'll just do my best to get up through the field. I might push a little harder than I normally would if we didn't have a stage. You know, but anytime you can keep more fuel in the car, it's just going to keep more weight in the rear and just help it be a little freer, especially in 3 and 4. You know, so if I, you know, I'm kind of mid-pack or toward the back. If we get an early caution, I'll definitely come in and top off. You know, just to keep the car a little bit on the looser side, because this thing will build tight and you will burn the right front off. I can get it on the right rear early in the run, but as the run goes, as the fuel burns off and the weight shifts to the front, then it's going to lean on the right. But yeah, I typically do like to do that. You know, most of the time it doesn't pay off. But yeah, I mean, if I'm still in the back and we get an early caution, I will absolutely come top off.
All right, well, we'll hold you to it. We'll kind of keep an eye and see how that 81 does tonight. I know you. I think you're due for a win here, buddy. This is going to be a tough one, but you still got a few drivers out here that are going to be champing at the bit to see if they can come away and with the win. I see Nick Nickerson currently sitting in 3rd. We got Kevin Foster in 9th. Your team, real quick, before we get to our starting grid, anything you guys got maybe saved out there, maybe in the back pocket?
And it just depends. This is a real tough track to try to be super aggressive at. If you're really aggressive early on cold tires, you can flat flip it around coming off of 2. So, you know, not really. It's just take care of your stuff and try to be there toward the end.
All right, John. Good luck to you and the GFR team. We'll be watching you from the booth.
I appreciate it, sir. Y'all have a good broadcast.
You too, buddy. All right, he says, y'all, I am flying solo here tonight as we're getting ready to get this underway. What an awesome job for these guys getting out there on the track. Let's go ahead and take a look at our starting grid here for tonight, brought to you by LAT Racing Oil. Let's go ahead and take a look where Brandon Jackson will be starting in that number 1 position. Brett Guzik sits in second. Nick Nickerson will be starting in third next to Sean Britt. Great start for Britt. Right now, I can't wait to see if he can hold out. Unfortunately, he keeps coming out there in that Weathermaster machine, getting hammered around a little bit. He's going to be looking to fight these guys off and stay clean. Michael Ramos sits 5th, and Mark Allen Bivens, our 6th place driver. Moving on to David Lakey. All right, Patsy Steele, Rude on the 84, sitting in 7th next to Eddie Haggy. Will be on the outside of row number 4. Finishing it off here in the top 10 starts with Kevin Foster and Ethan Sikorsky. Connor Gibson and Marshall Crocker will be all the way down in that 12th position. He's going to be starting a little farther back than I think he expected, but not as far back as John Osborne expected, as Keegan Clark will be to his inside for row number 7. Moving on to Matt Crockett, he starts 15th, Hayden Paul 16th, Bob Berry. Let's see if Bob Berry can do something with his race here tonight. Right now, the Harley-Davidson machine has been on the back foot here as of late. Would love to see him get a podium tonight. But Pedro Leon, Victor Weaver, Josh McQuiggan, and Bill Harkins are all looking to do the same. 21 drivers lined up for you, ladies and gentlemen, here tonight. Let's go ahead and get this underway. Green flag is out. Brandon Jackson off to an excellent start here. Coming out of turn number 1. Drivers falling down like Nick Nickerson right now, falling way out of line. Loses 5. Brandon Jackson loses down to the 13th spot. Sitting on the pole. That falls way back. And that's going to be some trouble out of his race car here. Up there as we move on through. Lap number 2 is underway. Brett Guzik and Sean Britt hold in our number 1 and 2 spot. But that's going to be challenged out there by Mark Allen Bivens. Right now, the bivouac trying to hold on there. You're looking to see if Sean Britt is going to give him any trouble. Notice how Mark Allen Bivens holds down toward the bottom car, gets that white line, seeing if he's got anything for us here tonight. Currently, Mark Allen Bivens, not as of late, I believe he's still up in the top 5 in our points, and he is currently still charging forward. Not bad for an outside top 5 start here for Bivens as he moves up to the 2nd spot. Sean Britt falls down to 3rd, but is up 1 from his original qualifying. And Eddie Haggy breaking into the top 5. He in that 5th spot as he battles Michael Ramos. Ramos with a quick move in his Ford, slides up to 4th. Not bad here. Nickerson dropped down 3, looking to try to recover and come back from this one. Everybody, we're still stewing around out there as we look at Marshall Crocker currently moving up 4 positions. Now his Ford holds on the favorite there for Marshall Crocker is John Osborne. We talked about that a couple of times. The Surge machine currently hitting in 11th. And we've got a visitor here in the booth. Benjamin Lacey joining me up top. Unable to get behind the wheel, but he's able to crawl up here in the booth. And boy, I guarantee you, you'd like to be down there on the field as you've led the most laps at this track, but looks like you are not going to be on the track. What the heck, Ben?
Yeah, I know. Bummer couldn't make it out there tonight. Had some work trips going on, but you know, Texas is one of my favorite tracks. I actually love coming here with the redesign with the turn 1, 2. It's going to be a lot of fun for me because it's all about being able to set that corner up, and you get that corner right, you can really make some speed on this track and really gap yourself between the field.
Yeah, speaking of gap, we're already looking between first and the dead last spot where Hayden Paul sits is currently sitting about 4.7 seconds, where we squeeze in all 21 drivers, few of them still side by side out there. Sean Britt once again under fire as Mark Allen Bivens had taken the lead a couple of laps ago. No Sean Britt on the outside here of Nick Nickerson. Nickerson does give him some room, though. We have Martin going ahead and leading him off. Doesn't not want to get involved in anything that Sean Britt has going on, as he is currently coasting out there with the BC Sim Sports gang. Notice how BC Sim Sports is out there with Brett Guzik, Eddie Hagge, and Marshall Crocker. That's going to be a tough team to beat, as currently Sean Britt is catching up to Brett Guzik. Guzik, unfortunately, on the roll back. No, Brett Guzik is good on tires. Benjamin, you kind of watch out. Whoop. Little knock there, right? As Brett Guzik gives a little nudge there to Marshall Crocker. And Crocker slides on by. But Brett Guzik is very good at saving tires out here. You know, how do you battle against a driver who's conserving so well?
Yeah, he's notorious for that. Fuel and tires are his game. He does really, really good job at that. So not surprised at all. That's his strategy, and we'll see how that pays off. But considering that's tough to do, especially late in the run.
All right, Brett Guzik probably in the best spot on the track, as currently the yellow flag does come out. Looks like Ethan Sikorsky was caught in the middle of a 3-wide issue out there, and we have a driver of Michael Ramos who had been churning his way up to the front. Looked like nothing was going to stop him, but he may have stopped himself here, as he is our guy in the process of our yellow flag here on lap number 9. Stage will be at lap 47. I double-checked on our number there. I knew John Osborne was thinking 48, but it should be okay. Let's see if I can find a peek here at what caused our caution here. And we'll take a look at Michael Ramos. Take a look over top. This is currently him sitting in that second spot. Looks like a quick nudge by Eddie Hagge, and then just gets caught up. That boy looked like he was sliding for almost an entire turn there. I don't think he really appreciated that, and that was looking pretty tough for him, so we'll definitely try to keep him at it. Now I guarantee he's a little nervous right now. But fortunately, he does seem to pull out of it. Looks like Michael Ramos, minimal amount of damage here. And that does work out very well for the 27 Ford out there. Let me see if I can cue you in here, Ben. That way you can kind of see what exactly we are doing here on my end. Right now, it looks like a fire sale down there. Everybody coming down into pits. Drivers who did not. Mark Allen Bivens, Connor Gibson, Eddie Hagge, Marshall Crocker, Brett Guzik, Ethan Sikorsky, and Victor Weaver. We haven't said anything about Victor Weaver out here yet. Currently, he is out there sitting, moving himself up into the 7th position. I expect to see maybe some of these guys come down and pit one lap later. We've seen this kind of thing happen before. And oddly enough, yes, John Osborne did come down into pit after we talked to him about it. Texas definitely being pretty tough out here for some of these guys already. I've got to say, Mark Allen Bivens seems to have that car hooked up. Definitely drove off the front end of the track there and just started leaving the field. Finally slowed down just a little bit there, as looks like Ramos was catching up. A little nudge there by Hagge. He gets a little bit loose, and then looks like he goes around the front end there of Connor Gibson's machine and ends up getting turned around the rest of the way. So we can't really point fingers here at Connor Gibson. They're going to probably most likely call this a racing incident here. I don't believe there's going to be any EOL already. I'm sure Ramos may be starting from the back of the field here. And we'll see if we can get this back underway. All right, looks like another pit stop here for Nick Nickerson. Looks like a top off and go. I'm wondering if he's concerned about fuel mileage, if he's going to go ahead and give it a splash and go and get back out there. Hopefully have some sort of a decent opportunity to go at it here. So we should be back under green on lap number 13. Good time to pit, Benjamin Lacey. We take a look at some of our guys out there are coming down and pitting here on lap number 10, but some are not. Is it that critical to pit, seeing that the stage is at 47? I don't think they'll make it on fuel, but would it be a good idea for them to pit now? We shall see. We shall see. Benjamin Lacey's all muted up on me.
I realized I was on mute this whole time, but yeah, I would definitely come in and take some fuel for sure.
That's all right, buddy. All good. All good. All right, so your team down there going to be looking to get something going here. Wait and see. Right now I'm seeing Ethan Sikorsky. Right now I think he's going to be our guy. Right now he was holding in the middle of a 3 wide. He's going to be looking to go at it again. Green flag will be back underway here in just a moment. And we're holding on it. And Mark Allen Bivens gets us away. Geico restarts. Three-quarter jump out front. Mark Allen Bivens definitely is now making that grow. Now 4-5 car lengths. Still going away, and Connor Gibson starting to play chase. Eddie Haggie's got a high line here. Use that turn speed to sling on around. And right now, great job here as he continues to get on through. Looks like Eddie Haggie does get the clear. Dives into 3, goes and pulls away Connor Gibson. Now watching these two in front of him. Not a bad race here so far. Only one caution back on lap number 7 involving Michael Ramos, who unfortunately is down in the... Where has he gone? Boy, he's already moving up, sitting 14th, so he's definitely enjoying this track. The 78 of Marshall Crocker brake checks just a little bit, drags that left foot, slides underneath the 31 here of Connor Gibson. He's going to dive into 3 and try to make this pass, so not bad. We currently see Brett Guzik sitting down there in 5th. Kevin Foster kind of tripping me up a little bit there. He almost looks like he is running a Film in the Wild car out there as he sits into number 8. What do you know about it, Ben? Did you give him that paint?
Oh, I wish I did, but yeah, you know, Kevin always has some really good paint schemes. They work together to get those out, but I'm not sure who the sponsor is on the car, but it is a good-looking car.
Yeah, it's the residential machine on there.
Yeah. We'll have to bring him up and have him talk about it.
Good drone angle here of Kevin Foster. Hopefully Kevin Foster is able to stay out of trouble here tonight. He's done a great job of staying out of the cautions here this year. He was collected up a whole bunch last year.
Yeah, cautions are always a good time. It makes it challenging. You know, with the league here, we get the fast repair, which is really fun. It keeps everybody up and around for a while longer and makes the races have a chance to redeem yourself, per se, if something doesn't go your way. And, you know, staying out of trouble usually gets you a good finishing spot. It doesn't matter what league you're running or where you're running. It just seems to be a good idea. So.
Yep. We'll get Kevin Foster riding a little bit higher. Catches up to Brett Guzik there. Decides to not make contact, but wow, Ethan Sikorsky thought better of it. He was going to nudge him there. I think a quick backup there from Kevin Foster. Currently, we're looking Guzik, Foster, and Sikorsky all in their Fords. And who else is there in the back? Right now, that's Sean Britt to the outside and the Toyota of John Osborne. Currently, lap number 18 is underway. Drivers getting pretty close. These guys all smashed within a tenth of a second of each other. And right now, Kevin Foster's in the hot seat. He's got to move somebody.
Yep. You know, we got Brett there who's most likely conserving his tires and conserving his fuel, trying to probably make it with no stop if you can. I don't know what the fuel run is right now, but that seems like a Brett play. And then, you know, that's kind of holding up a lot of people here, and it's just kind of creating a bit of a kerfuffle back here, in the words of Kevin Harvick.
Yep, and right now the 8 does get a little bit loose here. 4 moving around, everybody getting the wiggles out here, and I don't know quite what's going on. Ethan Sikorsky, even during the front D-shaped oval. Watch Josh McQuiggan go to his outside in the 94. I thought he may have nudged the grass, seemed to slip around just a little bit. Boy, have we got definitely a gaggle of cars here. Look at this chunk. Right now, it looks like Sean Britt does make a full clear, though. Gets up to the 5th spot, leaving McQuiggan down to 6th. McQuiggan not doing too bad for starting in 20th. This guy's moved up to 6th. Not bad. Ethan Sikorsky now to 7th. Brett Guzik still falling backwards, now to 8th. Currently, all his fans out there in the chat are wondering if Brett Guzik is doing okay out there. But I've got to admit, this is kind of the Brett Guzik thing. He qualifies up front, falls backwards, and then decides to attack later on in the race. But just seems to have a whole lot of bad luck each and every week that he just can't seem to pull off.
Yep, sometimes it goes like that. It seems like you get caught in a feedback loop and you just can't get out of it. And, you know, you do everything right and you still get caught up in some other junk, and it happens. And sucks Brett might be having some of that issue. But, you know, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Brett pulls out a W here in the next couple of races. That seems like also a very Brett move to do.
Yeah, and I would say even if he is able to come away with a win, being so close here to the playoffs, it's going to have to be pretty soon. I know he wants to make sure he stays locked in into the playoffs and make it, but it's going to be it's going to be do or die situation here. I would say John Osborne is due for a championship. This guy is, I mean, he made it all the way to the end of, I believe it was season 12 without a win and just wasn't able to pull it off there. And then we see Jackson Knock. He was so close, but ended up at a track that he hated and couldn't pull off the win there. So, you know, I would say the way this schedule's lined up this year, Ben, you know, we kind of, it's definitely tripping these guys up. I think it's catching them really off guard here. And it's really, I wouldn't say a super speedway style. It's not a road course, and it's not a mile and a half. You guys have definitely a solid blend that should smooth everything out. Take a look at Brandon Jackson. Well, he's already shuffling his way up, sitting 10th now.
Yeah, Brandon's a guy that definitely keep an eye on, especially with some of these unique tracks. Brandon just seems to have a touch for him, and he's able to find the line like right there, you know, going through on the outside of Brett. Just makes it look really easy and real smooth. You know, if you go in and watch his on-car, his onboard type of a view, you'll see his inputs seem to be very smooth and controlled, and you know, he just gets us. I mean, right there, he's a little bit on the outside, a little tight, and he just looked real smooth with that, and that's just something he's good at.
Yeah, and he easily gets around John Osborne there. Osborne not putting up much of a fight. So he's able to rotate through this turn, not bad here. Same calm, cool, and collected sitting here in the driver's seat as it looks like John Osborne reattacks here to the inside. That Connor Gibson's also taking a peek, getting real close to the surge machine here. Shoot down the front stretch here. High tide looking down at everybody here. And that is Brandon Jackson we see on the outside. Now, even after the Bristol race, I got to admit, we had a lot of tempers flaring out there, and a driver we don't see, and I'll go ahead and stir the pot a little bit. Curtis Yancey is not out here on the track. I believe he's currently out there underneath the blue lights, making things happen out there on the streets, as he is unfortunately not here at the track. I think that might be a driver that definitely shows up here and does a whole lot of things to the car that we don't think it can do. All right.
Absolutely right. Curtis he has a very unique driving style when it comes through. He's very he pushes the car to the limit and is able to hold that speed pretty well. I don't know how he's able to replicate that, but he does some things with the car, and it seems like that thing's drifting through the corner sometime. You're like, my goodness, he'll burn his stuff up, and then he just seems to keep that distance and that gap on you, and you're just like, how does he do that? He's good at it.
I love the politically correct answer. Excellent job. All right, let's move up. Mark Allen Bivens still holding into the lead here. He's got half a second over top of Eddie Haggy and does not seem to be being challenged at all. But is Mark Allen Bivens burning the tires off in this one? I wouldn't say so. Marshall Crocker sitting third as right now Mark Allen Bivens somehow this season has come out of nowhere with a ton of speed out there. And right now, no one is touching this guy. As we bring him on screen, he has gained 0.3 of a second just on that last lap. I mean, what has Bivens got? What does he know that the rest of this field hasn't figured out that this season, I mean, he's turned it around. Last season was Ethan Sikorsky. That guy was, I mean, no offense, he was running 20th position. And then all of a sudden, Ethan Sikorsky's getting solid top 10s. I mean, currently he's sitting 7th. But we've got Mark Allen Bivens. I mean, this guy was maybe low top 10s. This guy is leading just about every race we have out here. Now, I mean, not coming away with every single one of them as a win, but is leading laps. I mean, this guy's really figured something out there.
Absolutely. You know, Bivens definitely a guy when I'm on track, I want to know where he's at because he's somebody that can just kind of, if you sleep on him, he'll take advantage of it and he'll come get you. And next thing you know, you're chasing him down going, what in the world? Where did he come from? He's just kind of a sneaky player at times, and it's kind of fun, you know, to be that guy. I used to be that guy for a bit, but, you know, pass the torch on over there to, looks like Bivens. He's a sneaky one. You got to keep an eye on him for sure.
You know what I say, Ben? Once you take over admin, things start changing out there. The race becomes a little bit different. You got to race a little bit different. And I would say your racecraft has changed a little bit. You don't want to be upsetting anybody out there. Some of these guys got nothing to lose. Everybody now, when you take over a part of the league, they look up to you. You have to have the stellar driving style, and unfortunately, I would say you caught the Kevin Foster fever out there this season.
Yeah, it's been I don't know. I kind of joke. I race also on Monday Night League, and after winning the championship here in Bandit last season, it just seems like I can't catch a lucky break by any means. I just keep getting wrecked or something happens, pulled out. Just I sound like Denny Hamlin right now with just a little bad luck. Poor me, but it seems to be the case. It just cracks me up. I was joking. Maybe I shouldn't have won the championship here last season. Maybe I should have given it. They would have better luck this season. But yeah, sometimes when you do take over admin positions and stuff like that, you got to be thinking the bigger picture, and sometimes that means you do have to change your racecraft to make sure that you're practicing what you're preaching, and not just do as I say type of mentality. And that's the approach I like to take. And if that does mean suffering on finishes for my race, then so be it. And we'll make sure the league comes back and be strong.
Be big and be strong, and definitely has what you want, a solid core group of guys, and that will definitely assist in the way you guys see the racing out there. All right, we take a couple peeks out there. The few drivers are now on Ethan Skorsky. Currently, before that, we were hovering around the Keegan Clark area down there in the 14th spot. He's sitting there in 4th, and it looks like this field is pretty well spread out here. Nobody maybe within 0.2, half a second of each other as they now start spreading out. Right now, I can definitely guess that a few of these other guys have figured out where exactly they need to be out there on the track. Bivens, Aggie, Crocker, McQuiggan, Osborne currently holding our top 5 out there, and that definitely seems to be exactly where they want to be, where they've qualified, where they've shifted up to the front. The big scare there is Josh McQuiggan, starting all the way back in 20th, now hovering in 4th. So it definitely proves to you that qualifying does not mean anything out there. The guys have blasted through the rest of this field and figured out how to shuffle up to the front. Drivers like Michael Ramos, I said he was back there during the lap 9 caution. Ramos has fought himself back up to 13th, and Ramos is not somebody we talk about a lot out here. Right now, he's the pretty quiet driver out there in the number 27, slowly working up his way up to the front. As when I take a look at his couple of his last times, he's gained about a 1/10 of a second out there on the 84 Chevrolet of David Blakey. Right now, that is definitely an excellent, different, kind of an interesting shift here. Matt Crockett has unfortunately fallen down to the 21st position. Connor Gibson falls down to 19. Right now, I don't see where he pit at all here this race. So he is not one of those lap 10 takers out there. And I don't think any kind of tire issue would be the problem. He did make contact out there with Ramos. As I see our drone footage, I don't see any damage to the right front from that bump he had. So I don't know if Connor Gibson's just laying back here or if he's waiting for something to happen. Lap number 47 will be our stage break. I don't believe if from his position he's going to be looking at any stage points here. But he may be looking to attack later on in this race.
Either that or he's really clutching hard trying to make it to that stage break. That'd be the other option there. Maybe that's what he's going for, is that hard save, because I don't know if the fuel run's going to get you there or not. That's my one worry there. I don't know if Bivens came in on that caution or not. That'd be one of my worries, at least for the couple of guys up there in the top 5 who didn't come down, whether or not they can make it.
Yeah. Mark Allen Bivens did not come down that time around. So, yeah, I know you would think him and Connor Gibson may be trying 2 different strategies. Connor's trying to figure out if he's going to make it. Bivens is trying to figure out if he's going to make it. So that's pretty tough there. As right now I see Nick Nickerson poking his head in on the outside of the screen. Foster down toward the bottom. There's Guzik thinking about sending it 3 wide there for just a moment as they head down turn number 1 and 2, heading into 3 now. Nickerson securing 9th. Finally, as right now Kevin Foster backs it up just a little bit, but once again, like a bad sore, it looks like Brandon Jackson coming back into the picture right now, holding in 8th. Definitely a rough start here to the beginning of this race. A lot of those front drivers on the inside line had spun out to the inside. Not enough to cause a caution, but enough for about 4 drivers to head to the outside, to the inside lane. Excuse me. And now they have spent all race trying to get back to the front. Not a single driver in the top 5 has gained less than 5 positions here so far. So it does look like the top 10 is almost flip-flopped.
Yeah. And I really like what Nick is doing here. He's kind of searching for the clean air, but look at his line here through turn 1 and 2. he's kind of, the last couple laps, has been running up there on the top side, and that's really giving him some momentum here. It looks like he's kind of gaining a little bit of time here on Brandon, and that's really critical in these cars because you have the dirty air that you're really fighting with. That's why like the first couple, cars, the first three are just gapping everybody here, but Nick is searching for that clean air here, and now Brandon's kind of shutting it off, so you can kind of see how that plays effect in there. But in turn one, I really like his momentum up there on the high side, and it looked like it was kind of playing good for him there a bit.
Yep. We're going to be holding him to it. 4 laps left to go before we get to the stage. I do like what Nick Nickerson is doing, taking a little bit different line, but as you mentioned that, I'm noticing everybody is starting to follow the exact line he is taking. They're wondering if he knows something. So it's kind of funny as everybody starts doing a little bit of a different tactic out there, little different strategy, and then all of a sudden, hey, wait a minute, now everybody's doing my strategy. So you got to see if you can get the upper hand or try to come up with something out there. Still, we continue the battle here. Everybody on the lead lap currently. Right now, I believe Matt Crockett is about half a track lap away from being lapped by Mark Allen Bivens. Wow, look at Nickerson take a quick swipe there. Sends Brandon Jackson back down to 9th. It looked like he wasn't happy about the 99 cutting him off there. Close cut.
Yep, Brandon's going to be able to hold up. Oh, look at Brandon maybe got the wall a little bit, but he's going to be able to get some momentum here on the high side. And now it's going to be about turn one here. Who can get the momentum and get, if Nick can dive it in there and clear, maybe he can slide up, and then Brandon can do the same back to Nick. Maybe next time around, but looks like Brandon's getting the run.
Boy, and that's got to be frustrating. Nickerson is kind of sliced around, able to get underneath, and then just right back. Brandon Jackson gets that angle and gets right back underneath, right back over top of him here. Take a look off the side here of Nick Nickerson's car. At the 99 on the outside right now. Can Brandon Jackson hold it? Let's say these are some of your cleanest drivers side by side here, so I think we will get a full battle here out to our stage break. So this is exactly what you want to see. I would still say Nick Nickerson is also known for giving everybody that little bump heading into that turn. See if he can rattle that cage a little bit out there, but that is A-OK. Doesn't seem to be any problem. A little scuff there to the wall there by Nickerson. Lap number 47 is underway. We got to wait for this lap to complete before the caution comes out. And right now, look at Brett Guzik coming back at it. Guzik sitting 9th. Now getting on the inside here of Nickerson. Nickerson realizes his escape route has been shut down. Looks like he's going to follow the 99. If he's going to cut, he better make it now. No, he decides to stay high. Mark Allen Bivens will go ahead and cross the line there on lap number 47. Go ahead and take away the stage win here as they sling on through. That's going to leave Nickerson in 9th, Guzik 10th. Dude.
Yeah, what a battle there at the end. I was a little nervous with Nick there on the outside of 3 and 4. Because he was running that line right where those bumps are, and we see at the actual Cup cars at Texas, they do not like the bump there, and it seems to send him around. So it kind of seemed like he was in the danger zone there, but he got through it clean and was able to lock up 9th place there.
Yep, and seems to be no problem. All right, that's going to do it here for Texas. The stage 1. Everybody, I'm sure, will come down, fuel, and go. I would like to make a note here that Mark Allen Bivens, Eddie Hagge were sitting 1 and 2, and we'll go ahead and include Marshall Crocker. Marshall Crocker here in the top 5. These guys didn't pit, and these guys made it to the end. So fuel mileage, keep in mind, we made it almost 50 laps with only 1 caution, and they made it without the car stalling out. So that's going to definitely. All right, now the rest of the field knows. All right, if I can make it 50 laps. Let's say 48, I know I can make safely here. How does that play in? So we only have really maybe 1 more pit stop after stage, and they're going to try to see if they can squeeze it out. So we'll take a look at it.
That really creates a couple of different strategies that you can do because, if it's lap 50 right now and you can make 50 laps, that's a one-stop race. So do you split it in half or do you run it dry and, have fresher tires at the end? So it really is going to create a little bit of a different strategy attempts here by a couple different drivers, I bet. Well, if we go green to the end, you could, see some guys coming in probably around lap 80, somewhere in that range, 80 to 90. I think 90 would probably be about the split. And then you might have some guys that come in, pushing it around 100. So it could be fun to watch.
I'll say, here comes Connor Gibson, a little late in the pit, though. Everybody working on scraping out of here, being pretty quick. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Everybody's shooting out, trying to get out there as soon as possible. Wow, Nickerson close there with John Osborne. Him and Brett Guzik gun it out there right at the end.
Is Bivens still in the pit? Is that what I'm seeing? Or is he out?
No, he's out. He's
Okay,
out. He's good.
He's out.
good.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
only 3 drivers still remain in pit. Connor Gibson, Hayden Paul, and Bill Harkins currently still sitting down there in pit road. Everybody is still on the lead lap, but they got to kind of put the hurry up on it here. Get back out there, maybe fixing some of the damage. Right now, Bill Harkins, about 46 seconds sitting there in the box. Connor Gibson still there. Hayden Paul now takes off. There goes Connor. Maybe fixing a little bit of that optional damage as they come around again. All right. All right, awesome job. All right, let's check out there in the chat. I'm responding to you guys there for a little bit. Margot's Guzik saying a little bit of the engineer brain going on out there. No doubt that Guzik's got a chance. Everybody's rooting on Weaver out there. Victor Weaver currently looks like he'll be restarting in 15th, depending if anybody else is going to be repitting out there. And they are asking, where is the Knoxter? Mr. Jackson is out camping. He is doing a, what do they call it, Ben? When you kind of take the phone, throw it out the window, everything's off. I don't know.
Oh, I have no idea.
I have no idea.
Disconnecting.
Yeah, he called it something. He called it something. Maybe he's being a weirdo, hanging upside down in a tree like a bat or something. All right.
If it resets, do it. That's all I have to say.
Sure. I still have yet to find that reset button, man. I'm cranked up. All right. I appreciate all you guys joining us here at SimTrax Broadcasting for the Everything's Bigger in Texas 135. Lap number 52 will be our green flag getting back underway. Right now, a lot of big movers. Josh McQuiggan moving up 17 here on the night, as he'll be taking the inside line right behind Eddie Hagge. Now, Mark Allen Bivens, after that restart on lap number 9, never looked back, was never put under fire, and let it go. We'll see if Eddie Hagge can continue that and see if Eddie Hagge can try to hold him a little closer than he had last time. He was the only driver who was at least able to get semi-close to do something with it. All right, here we go. Green flag coming on out. And, whoa! Who just got dumped?
Oh, that's Brandon. He might have spun tires.
I haven't even moved the camera off the start-finish line as drivers are sliding through the finish line on through. I think even Bill Harkins was caught up in that. How? Oh, man.
No. That's Bill's luck, too. You know, Bill always, he's one, he's not going to get in your way. He's going to run you pretty clean, but always seems just trouble finds him somewhere. Especially whenever he's running up front, just seems like he always gets hit with something. Sorry for laughing there, Bill, but
yeah,
seems to be the luck.
I know. I don't want to laugh at him. We're not laughing at him. We're just laughing at the situation. That this poor guy just cannot seem to get a break. So the 99 down here at the bottom looks like he gets jammed right behind Marshall Crocker. Let me see if I can get a little bit closer here because there's a weird angle. It looks like he almost rear ends him here.
Yeah, I wonder if Marshall maybe missed a shift or started in a different gear.
Ooh,
or just,
a little
it
nudge
just
there
didn't
by
go.
Nickerson. And Bill, right into Bill.
Yeah. Nothing Bill can do on that one. My goodness.
How? The poor guy. It's like, okay, go time, and then he's right there in the windshield. How? All right, we gotta take a ride along here with Bill. Gosh. Because you see why he can't react.
Yeah.
Here we go. Go time. Yeah, the C's part, and there he is. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do in that situation. Nothing probably a lot of the drivers in that situation could do is just unless you have the reflexes faster than a cat, there's nothing you can do to avoid it.
Wow. All right, well, Bill Harkins will be down into pit road for some repair maybe. I don't know if Bill has taken it back to the garage. Checking on Bill Harkins here. I don't know if there's if he's taking it back. Yeah, I think he's actually going to be our first driver. I've taken the engine out. The other drivers are down pit road. Bob Berry, Connor Gibson, Hayden Paul, Keegan Clark. And Brandon Jackson was the first one to spin out there. I would think he'd have a ton of damage on the side of his race car. Bill out there saying goodnight. Oh, man.
Oh, that's a bummer. Yeah, I wonder if Brandon already went down and used his fast repair, because I know he was a pinball out there for a bit.
Yeah, he did get maimed out there pretty good. Let's see what he looks like after the pit. Yeah, gets a good push there.
Yeah, did Marshall, to me it looked like Marshall was just not quite as quick on the loud pedal there for a bit, and then Brandon was going and anticipated that and had to lift and check up and kind of up and around off of that, you know.
Yeah.
It's kind of what it appeared like a little bit.
All right, here they're sitting. Green flag. Whoop. Oh,
Yep.
Yeah, I thought the 2 had hit him. 2 didn't even touch him.
No.
So I wonder as well if I can get inside here and see if we can.
He's sitting in second gear. We can see it on the dash.
All right. So there's Marshall.
Yeah.
Where is my guy? Where's Brandon? Come here. We'll get to this pretty quick here before we get taken off too far here.
He's starting first gear. Yeah. That'll make a lot of difference.
Whoa. Yep.
Yep.
Goosed it right there. Sends it all the way to the top with the red line, and then just sends them on around. Oh, boy. Yep. That'll make everybody real happy with us tonight.
Yep. All right, re-rack them, restack them.
All right. Perfect Shine Auto Spot. Thank you for going ahead and queuing up here for our caution replay. Let's try this again. Mark Allen Bivens off to yet another fantastic restart. I think Eddie Hagge was more prepared on the last one, as Hagge is now going to be looking at a 6/10 gap before we can even dive into turn number 1. Speaking of pinball, look at McQuiggan there, trying to see if we can settle those tires down a little bit before we get going. Right now, Nickerson caught again. Right now, he's everywhere on the outside, but it doesn't seem to have a single lane here on the inside. Look who's sending it, Ethan Sikorsky. Sikorsky now up to 4th.
Great run by Sikorsky here. You know, he's a guy who's not afraid to get his elbows out a little bit and push it and drive. You know, he's I think last season. I think he was one of the most improved drivers. I think he might have won that award. And 3 wide. This is going to be fun in turn 3 here.
Yep, caution. Caution, John Osborne involved. Looks like Connor Gibson, Pedro Leon involved. I think something happened to the 07 there. I don't know if he's broken. That might be a broken toe link here on the left front. Oh, maybe. Yeah, he's
Yep, looks like the car ain't turning right.
Ben, I think your car looked like this after Dover.
Oh my goodness. That car looks like that after every week.
Oh my gosh. All right, let me see if we can find what happened to Pedro Leon here to bring out our caution. Oh.
Just a little love tap.
Where does John get involved?
He didn't know which way to go. That's tough. That's a tough situation when you got a car spinning around like that, and even if they are holding the brakes, it's a 50-50 chance, man, of which direction that car's going to spin back and around to you. You know, you just don't know. That's a tough break.
Well, they even joke about it, you know, like in Days of Thunder. He says, I drive toward the center of the car. He should have been gone by the time I got there. But it's you don't know if he's coming up the track. You don't know if he locks him down, continues sliding sideways, or he hits the gas trying to save it and he drives forward. I mean, I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know. It's hard to tell, man. So, you know, when you got less than half a second to try to take all that into account, look at the tire rotation and maybe where he's going to go, plus where everybody is around you. That's normally why your spotter just tells you where the guy is, and good luck. That's your
Yep.
job to get through it.
It's always it's a fun time, like there's the term ARCA braking that, gets thrown out a lot, probably overused in a lot of situations, but it's a tough line in that because you're sitting and you want to slow down and you want to slam on your brakes, but it's like braking in fog. You don't want to do that super hard because the guy behind you can slam into you and it causes more issues. So you got to hit that right sweet spot of slowing down to where it doesn't get you run over and you can avoid the wreck safely.
Yes. I've been rear-ended multiple times. I get 4 cars sideways in front of me. It's better off just to slow down and let it continue playing out, and then of course they want to make it 5 sideways because the guy behind me has pushed me into it. So, yuck.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, pretty much unchanged here in the top 5. Bivens, Haggy, Sikorsky, Guzik, and Nick Nickerson holding on to those positions. 2 Chevrolets in the front row. And that's going to move us to nothing but Fords all the way outside the top 5. Definitely awesome here. Right now, moving Perfect Shine Auto Spa. Another fantastic caution replay there as this one involves Pedro Leon. Little bump and run there by Michael Ramos, who was part of our lap number 9 caution. Definitely a few other things out there. I would wonder if drivers like John Osborne would come down for a scheduled pit here. And he is. 4 tires and fuel.
Yeah, I wonder if he came down initially to see, the fast repair if he needed to use it. I don't know if he just took repairs, if he, kept that in the back pocket for a little later on in the race. That would be my strategy. What I try to do, just come down and get the damage fixed, and then around that last pit stop of the race, if things going green, click on that fast repair and get it done. But depends on how bad the damage was with the car.
Right.
We'll see if you can catch up here before we go green.
Right. I would say it would depend how much damage you go out there. It could actually hinder you all the way to the end. And I've seen that, cars underpowered and everything, trying to see if they can salvage the race, but definitely not.
Yep. We'll have to watch Brandon and John, come in from the back, see if they can do it, with the dirty air. And Bivens is looking pretty strong tonight, so he's probably going to get a good restart here on the inside and see if Eddie can hang with him.
Yep. Arnie up there in the flag booth, ready to go. Thank you, Perfect Shine Auto Spa. For our caution replay, let's try again. Here we go.
Much better start by Eddie this time.
Yes, very much better start. As I was going to say, he was very ready for that one on the outside. Eddie Haggy trying to see if he can get a breakaway from Ethan Sikorsky. Sikorsky holding down there on the bottom. Look who's playing chase now. Nick Nickerson as he puts Guzik in the rearview mirror.
Yep, Brett finding his way back up here. I bet you by the end of the night, Brett's going to be within striking distance. Sometimes he'll take the first, half of the race to just kind of play it cool and not show his cards. And then the second half of the race, all of a sudden he just hits the button, and next thing you know, you're tracking where he's at and what he's doing and when he's pitting because you could win it.
But it always seems interesting to me that Brett Guzik can figure out how to save tires at the track that is the hardest on them.
He's got a knack for it. He's 100% just that type of guy. Texas is definitely brutal on the tire, especially turn 1 and 2 here because of the flatness of it, and actually 3 and 4 as well. You can save a lot of tire there by just approaching that corner correctly, and Brett knows how to do it.
Yeah, driver on the move right now is Nick Nickerson. Gets Sikorsky behind him, working on finishing off Eddie Haggy, and is reaching out to touch Mark Allen Bivens here. I think the next couple of laps looks like the driver from the GFR team is going to be taking a look. High side, you were talking about clean air, and he's looking for it. As he rotates toward the top here, is he going to have enough speed? I don't think so. Right now, Mark Allen Bivens fends him off.
Yep. Bivens got a good exit there, and now look, Eddie's trying to kind of replicate maybe what Nick is doing. It looked like he was kind of copying that line for a bit.
Yeah, I don't blame him. Might be time for a little extra fuel mileage saving here if he can try to stretch this out a little bit. Haggy trying to stick on behind. Nickerson sticking out his nose out to the side a little bit. Pretty crazy is to take a gutsy move to the outside. You would think it would bleed off some speed not being able to draft, but hey, winners don't just follow in a line. You've got to come up with something different here. Currently, Nick Nickerson's...
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
I was going to say, clean air. You got to search for the clean air in these cars. You can aero block real easy. If Bivens wants to stay in the lead, all he's got to do really is just block Nick with aero, and it's going to be tough to do. So if you see Nick, he's just kind of searching for a little bit. He's running the lane up, getting that clean air on the nose, giving that grip, and now he's getting the run off the corner and getting there. And Eddie's doing the opposite. He's going down just a little bit lower, because Bivens is far out enough in front where Paggy can get a little bit more of the clean air on his nose as well.
Wow. That's good to know, man. I kind of look at it from here, and I always wondered, you might want to follow him a little bit, get a little bit closer to try that. But it does seem to be working for Nick here. Hanging on that outside, getting pretty close. A little bit of a draft there off the edge, and then get back to the high side and try to run him down here. As Eddie Haggie's almost following exactly in line with Nick Nickerson there for a moment, and then it doesn't seem to be gaining at all. I know it's still sitting about a quarter of a second, so you are right, man. Think about any of that.
Sometimes. Yeah, it's really weird, these cars with the draft, the way it kind of works. Sometimes you get caught in this, I like to call it the bubble, where it seems like you'll be making great time on someone, it feels like you're gaining like 2 or 3 tenths a lap, and then you get about, half a second or so behind them, and you just stall. And you just cannot make any more time. You're just like, my goodness, I'm just burning my stuff up back here trying to catch them. So you got to find where that clean air is and where the line is. It's going to allow you to make up that time and push and break that bubble. And once you break the bubble, you can kind of start using the draft on the straightaway to pull you back in.
Yep. No look. Nickerson getting closer than ever this time. Gets to under a tenth of a second. And he's still trying to squeeze it. Bivens now starting to play defense here. He sees Nickerson all over his back bumper. Bivens does make a good block there as we take a look off the back end here of Markel Bivens. Looking back, number 2 Ford of Nick Nickerson. A lot closer this time after stage than we were in the first half. I seem to have figured this one out.
Yeah, he's making that line work up there. I wouldn't be able to do it. I'd be running what Bivens running down in the bottom, and Bivens right now needs to really just focus on what's going on in front of him and not worry about too much about what Nick is doing. Just run your line, and the more you start paying attention in the mirror, which Nick is really good at making you do, easier for a mistake, and then Nick takes advantage of it.
Yeah, and then that way you give a good little nudge here, bump there, little shove here. Check back in on John Osborne, currently sitting down in 13th. Ramos is behind him. Brandon Jackson now 15th. A couple of guys found some trouble. Remember, John Osborne starting behind Brandon Jackson, continuing his run up to the front. Kevin Wheelman hangs out there watching in on Kevin Foster. He's sitting down at 18th. He's out there all by himself. 6 tenths front, 6 tenths behind. Victor Wheelman. Everything's pretty tight on the front there. All right, let's move down here to Matt Crockett. Crockett there on the outside. Remember, Matt Crockett ended up dead last there in the Liquid Death Machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, notice how he shuffles around. Matt Crockett gets high into that turn, brake checks a little bit, and then moves around yet again.
Yeah, he's probably just searching for that line. Where's the speed at? And then also, doing his best to be predictable for the other guys who are maybe coming up around him, and, being a little more aggressive than he is wanting to do at the moment. And it's trying to make your car turn in the corner. Sometimes it doesn't want to do that.
Is it the design of the car, the design of the tires, or is it the iRacing service that gives these guys so much trouble with this car?
It's the underbody. They have a diffuser on the back, so it just really messes with the air. Back there just shoves it all underneath the car and back, on the guy behind you. So then it lifts up the front end to the front of your car if you're behind somebody, and then you lose front end grip, can't turn. So if you're able to find the clean air, it pushes that nose back down, and then you can turn again. So it's just kind of one of those deals of searching for the clean air. And even the cup cars, in real life, they fight the same thing. That's why they aero block so much. They'll just follow where the guy's running behind them. Enter high. If the guy behind you enters low, they go back down low and block you down there. So it's tough to pass in these cars.
Yep. sit on there with John Osborne a little bit. You hear him pedaling around the turn. Something's not feeling quite
Connor.
right. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Michael Ramos that definitely bucks out of there.
Yeah, these cars, they can get real snappy on exit, especially if you're shifting down to fourth and you punch a little too hard. You can go right around real quick. The side forks on these cars are a lot less than your other typical stock cars. So you got to be careful with that, and they can snap on you real quick. And if you get loose, you got to be quick with your wheel response. Otherwise, you can go right around again.
Yeah, I guarantee you that. And I would say some of these other guys, like Marshall Crocker right now, I think he's under fire there by Brett Guzik. Guzik still trying to hold on to fifth. Crocker now up in that spot. Guzik now drops to sixth. Nickerson, we see on the edge of our screen, still trying to see if he can find a groove to get around Mark Allen Bivens, but can he do it? Right now, Brett Guzik is fighting for that fifth spot. We'll kind of hone in on this battle here between the 78 and the 04. Now these two Fords are going at it. Looks like somebody's Mustang gets out front, and that's going to be Brett Guzik. He goes ahead and presses on that loud pedal just a little bit harder to get out front, gets it, and now he's going to go ahead and try to get away from him. Let's check back in on Bob Berry. Bob after Matt Crockett. All right, waves by to Matt Crockett as he goes on by. Michael Ramos will follow right behind him. A lot of crazy driving out here.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I really liked what Marshall did there. He realized, we can sit there and battle with Brett for, 7-8 laps, but that's just going to allow David Lakey to come up and, make his bid for that place as well. So Marshall just said, I'll concede, we'll run, and we'll draft together, and we'll keep that distance there. So I really like what Marshall did there. It's a smart, long, big picture move there.
Thing when you're driving out there is also be considering what you're doing 10 laps from now, 20 laps from now, 30 laps from now. I try to leave that to the crew chief, but sometimes you got to be your own team out there, and I would say it's a lot harder trying to come up with solutions or something that you can do on the fly when you kind of only got the only input is your own. Yeah,
that's what makes it challenging. You got to sit there and think strategy while you're trying to hit your mark at the same time, and you do have to think big picture, but it's so difficult, like you're saying, when you have somebody up on your outside or inside and you're getting passed left and right, you want to push or, whatever the situation may be, and you got to sit there and think, okay, what's my big picture here? What's my strategy, and can I execute that? And let these guys do their own thing and have it come back to me later.
Yeah. And we kind of honed in on Josh McQuiggan out there. He was early on the run in the beginning of the stage, rocking up toward the front, but this Kelly Blue Book Ford out there is having some issues. Currently, McQuiggan has been rolling backwards now, sitting down in 12th, as he had a comfortable top 5 earlier. Checking on his pit time, it looked like he had come down and done a splash and go on lap number 58. So that might be the reason why we're seeing him having to try to fight back on the rest of this field to see if he can run them back down yet again. Nickerson falling off by 4/10 now off Bivens' original, off his lead currently, as we keep an eye here on McQuiggan, Keegan Clark, and Brandon Jackson. Keegan Clark is a guy we always seem to skip over with the Dude Wipes machine. He's going to now drop down to 12th as now McQuiggan slides underneath him between 3 and 4. We take a look at it here, and we see drivers passing each other on the front stretch, on the back stretch, between 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Is there really a good place to be passing here? I mean, is it? Can you pass anywhere, or you got to wait for a run, or is it? Hey, I have to pass on the turns here because the straightaways we just play follow the leader.
It's a challenge to pass here for sure. I like trying to make my move up in 1 and 2, just because I feel like I have the entry there, those corners down pretty well. So that's where I like to try to make my setup out of 3 and 4 and make the move in turns 1 and 2, and then try to clear before 3 and 4. Because if you can clear in 3 and 4, then you're good. But if they can hang on your quarter panel out of 4, then they can pull you back a little bit. But inside line on 3 and 4 is your preferred groove when you're trying to make the pass.
All right, we come up on 50 laps left to go here to the end of this race.
If we're at 50 right now, that's what I'm saying. Maybe we split this run.
Yeah.
We might be coming up might be coming up on some pit stops here soon if they can go 50 laps like that.
Yep. And it's pretty wild because the guys who have pit on lap 58, lap 59, I see a couple on 53, they're going to be able to hang out there just a little bit longer. So could this break our field up? Instead of being in one solid line, we may have 2 or 3 groups of cars or clusters out there, and we may see a little bit different strategy. Guys may only be taking right side tires and fuel and get back out there. Is it suicide at this track to only be taking 2?
I think it depends on how many laps you got left, you know. I think if you got to do like a half a tank, it might be best interest to take 4. Oh, that's tight. You know, but, you know, if we've got like, I don't know, 10, 15 laps, yeah, take your shot, take 2, go for it. Especially if the car handles it well. You know, Nick is somebody who's not afraid to take 2 in situations. So that'd be a guy I'd keep an eye on, whether or not he's going to take 2 or not. But we shall see coming up here. You know, we've got pit stops are going to be happening here in the next, I would say, 10 to 15 for sure.
Connor Gibson, who came down on lap number 58 for over a minute, sitting in the pit box to get some repairs done. We see him once again knocking the fenders in there with Brandon Jackson. Past couple laps, it looked like Brandon Jackson gave a little nudge there to the 31 between 3 and 4, and then Connor Gibson gets a good run down the front stretch and runs up into him on 1 and 2. So hopefully that is finished off. We don't want to see any tires getting cut down here. Let's move up to John Osborne, looking to see if he can attack David Lakey. Get that Zero Foxtrot machine into the rear view mirror, but the 78 going to give a little bit of a nudge block. And Osborne looks like he's going to be able to stick it out, though. Outside line, we'll call it the Nomus the Nickerson line out there toward the top. As Osborne, watch this long sweeping turn. He's going to go
wide,
for it.
3 wide.
Oh, man, yes.
Oh, there it is. There's a caution.
Caution is out. I believe the 99 is involved, and he is destroyed.
Oh, no.
Did you see the front end on that thing?
There is no bumper.
We have lost fenders, bumper, hood. Jackson must have taken a hard hit. And we'll double check and keep an eye on that infield car care center to see if the 99 survived this wreck. Showing Kevin Foster may be involved as well. We'll keep an eye on it here. Bring you our caution replay. Oh, yep, him and Connor get into it again.
Yep.
What a hit!
Yeah, sure hope Brandon's okay. Oh, is that Kevin?
Yep. Holy cow. Oh, and then Kevin Foster goes up in the wall way after that?
Yeah, I think he got into Brandon when Brandon was spinning like a top on the way back down.
What a hit into the wall here. There's the contact. Bam! Pieces flying everywhere. And as soon as he comes down that track, clink, catches Kevin Foster. And then look at this poor guy. Again, bam.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if we can rewind it a little again. I don't know if we have time. See if there's just a little bit before the corner with Brandon and Connor there.
Yep, we can do it. We can do it.
Yeah, that's just tight racing right there.
Yeah, we're going to say who ran into who here. Trying to see the seam at the bottom. Yeah, that's hard. Yeah, that's hard to say. I can't tell if the 99 came down farther or what. Wow,
that's just tight racing.
Both front wheels facing to the outsides absolutely blew them apart. Looks like Townley out there in the chat is saying the 99 comes down just a bit. Yeah, it's almost the way it seemed. Jackson came down just a little bit too much. And catches him there. I don't know if Brandon Jackson is able to recover. He may have used his fast repair back on lap 51. He was involved in that caution. Right now I'm checking the garage. It does look like the 99 has gone straight back.
It's a bummer.
Yeah. Well, that's 2 down for the night. Bill Harkins made it to lap 51. That was on the Brandon Jackson restart there. That kind of got him blown to bits. And then he gets hammered up here on lap 89. Boy, tough race. All right, who's coming down in the pit? It looks like Kevin Foster, I believe, is revisiting down into the pit box. Ooh, tires this time.
Taking some tires. So I wonder if the first round or, was just getting some of that damage fixed. Get more of it maybe now.
Yep. All right, anybody else? Any takers? Double file. Getting back to it. John Osborne sitting 6th.
All right.
Oh, the driver.
Bivens has been in control of this one for a while, so see what everybody's got for him.
Yep. I know. Does Nickerson attack now? Does he continue waiting this out? I mean, everybody came down in the pit on lap number 90. Nickerson came out much later. His pit stop was almost a second and a half longer than everybody else's, which drops him down to 5th.
Yep. Look at their Brett, though.
All right, here we go.
Oh.
No way. Was that Ethan Sikorsky? No caution. Oh, no caution because he's in the infield. No.
Man, Ethan was having such a good run, too.
Wow, is he going to be off pace? I guess the only thing he can hope for is a quick caution.
Yeah.
Yep, checking there.
Eddie making a run for it. It's close.
I might be realizing that now is the time.
Yeah. I remember last season when we were here, Eddie was pretty quick as well. Eddie was up front running for a while, and it was fun racing with him.
Yeah, take a look at that. Turn 3 and 4. Boy, he's got that one locked in. Tight race here. We hop on here with Eddie Hagge. And here comes the shot. He's looking to the inside.
Nick might be trying to do something too.
Fighting there. I don't think Eddie Hagge's got enough speed. Cuts back over.
Eddie was blocking the inside there. You could kind of see Nick in the mirror looking. Eddie moved down just half a lane to say, not today.
Wow. Talk about a little offense, a little bit of defense. Got to do a little bit of both at the same time.
Yep.
All right. Hagge going to take another look. Nickerson to the outside. That's going to hem up Eddie Hagge to keep low. See if Hagge can get up. Okay, he's not able to get a full turn exit. As the swing up is blocked by the number 2 Ford of Nick Nickerson of the Big Red Propane Machine. Mark Allen Bivens is laughing this off as the longer those two battle side by side, this is going to allow Bivens to start skating away.
Exactly. And look who's looming back there in 4th.
Yep, that's what I was getting ready to say there. Brett Guzik still looking, hanging back. Gets a little bit of the draft to keep him close, but deciding not to really attack here. Within half a second of the lead, though.
Brett knows if this goes green, you got to play the tire advantage. And, as we said earlier, Brett's good at that.
All right, Nickerson resumes back into the second position behind Mark Allen Bivens. As we got some fighting here in the back. Notice we got some trouble out there with Josh McQuiggan and John Osborne. Osborne looking to get underneath David Lakey. Lakey spotter. Working today. Good. Lakey, I thought, was getting ready to get into the surge machine here of John Osborne. Osborne fighting this get into 6th. They'll have it here in just a moment. I noticed back there as well, Kevin Foster, after pitting multiple times here, has fought himself up to the 12th position. Been in the pits 6 times here tonight, the same amount that John Osborne has. Looks like everything finally fizzling out.
I was gonna say, what a move though by John. That was That was gutsy. I don't know if I would have done it, but John made it work, and props to David for being aware of it too.
John ain't scared. There's a reason he gets to the playoffs on points alone. He makes it. Oh my gosh.
He does.
All right,
He's
John.
very consistent.
Yeah, somehow, I've seen this guy get multiple wrecks and can still somehow pull away a top 10. Blows my mind. Blows my mind how he can do it.
John is just one of those guys. I don't think he has a win here in Bandit, but his is coming for sure. He's just patiently runs his race, and eventually I think one will get. But looks like we got quite a battle with Britt and Gibson.
Yep. As we hone in here on the 31 Chevrolet, the snap-on machine of Connor Gibson, the only driver to still maintain his qualifying position. Connor Gibson was involved in a couple bump and bangs out there earlier. This one, I believe. He is currently chasing Sean Britt out there. Sean Britt wants to get a little something. Sean Britt, I believe, is a part-time driver here. Hangs out here for a little bit of time, gets out there, and goes ahead and puts on an awesome show. I've seen, unfortunately, how that number 5 does come out here on the races he can get and gets massacred. And hopefully,
Sean has some. Sean has some good speed. He usually qualifies up front. A lot of times it seems like he's on the front row, and then has some bad luck. Seems to kind of catch his way a little bit at a time. So good to see Sean still running out here tonight.
Yeah, and I would say Sean runs some blazing fast qualifying times. I almost say like Brett Guzik, but then falls off during the race. Currently, Sean Britt is down 6 positions from his qualifying spot. So he qualified top 10. Or top 5 even at that, and then falls off a little bit here as he puts Michael Ramos behind him. Britt now up to 9th. And interesting to see how Sean Britt runs this race. Now, we talked earlier about pit strategy. Well, I think that's probably out the window now. Everybody kind of leveled the playing field on lap number 90. And I think this would probably be it till the end.
Yep. If we get another caution, knock on wood, if we get another one here around lap 115, lap 120, that would be my limit right there. That anything after that, I'm staying out.
Keegan Clark getting way loose here, going down and touching that white line. We'll take kind of a different angle here as we sit on board here with Keegan Clark and see how much different it is than what we were sitting looking at Brandon Jackson. Keegan, a little bit herky-jerky there.
Yeah, especially if you're shifting down the 4th, you got to be careful on that throttle. Looks like he's doing a good job of that.
Yeah, runs a much higher line. Seems a lot smoother there toward the top. You were saying you were a little nervous about Nickerson getting up into the bumps up top.
Yeah, there's some bumps up there that if you hit them in 3 and 4, it'll just bottom your car out, and Godspeed, and catch you in the next one.
Surely it can't be bad as Iowa. Iowa looks like you guys are out there hitting mountains.
It's different. It's worse because this bump is kind of like it's like a whoop-de-doo per se. When you're like doing the dunes with your dirt bikes, right? It's kind of like one of those where it's just got this like big soft thing in the middle where you just bottom out, and there's just nothing. Once these cars bottom out, it's you're along for the ride.
So, we see this race winding down a little bit here, and we're going to start running out of time very quickly. Nickerson is going to have to start figuring out if he wants to pass Mark Allen Bivens, and has Brett Guzik saved the tires to attack here toward the end. Now, you're saying about lap 110, 115 here, that's about where you draw the line, 120. But if we get tires, if this goes green all the way to the end, when do you draw the line and say, hey, it's go time?
Depends on how far back you are. If I'm saying I'm in Brett's position, I'm still pretty comfortable. I'm just riding, and then with about 15, like around lap 120, I would just start putting the hammer down. Because it can be difficult starting to get around some of these guys. But if you saved your tires well enough, then you should be able to do it within a couple laps. And I'd want to give myself about 15 laps to do it.
Osborne fighting himself up to the 5th position now. Right now is working on the inside here of Marcus Crocker. Gets the clear. Got it. Puts the 78 machine behind him here right now. I would say a little luck could be thrown Marshall Crocker's way for the winner choices he picks each race. Might go ahead and let him by and push him to the front. John Osborne still got a little bit of a way to go. As we look at the time, John Osborne needs to come up with another 2 seconds to catch our fastest driver here on the track. He really laid down a 30.06 here during this race. The only other person to match that time was Eddie Hagge, who's currently hovering around in third.
Yeah, Eddie having a great run tonight. Been up front all night.
All right. So the Everything is Bigger in Texas 135 winds down to the last 25 laps to go. Mark Allen Bivens, Nick Nickerson, Eddie Hagge, Brett Guzik, and John Osborne occupy our top 5. We alternate Ford, Chevy and Ford all the way to the top 4. And finishing out with the Toyota there of John Osborne. Osborne's got to make up a decent amount of gap here, almost a second to find Brett Guzik.
I've been watching that ticker, and he's coming. I'd be, I don't know if we got it available, but I'd be interested to see the lap comparison between John and, say, Bivens if we can, or at least the car in front of him to see what that looks like. Because John is, looks like he's making his way.
Yeah, they're continuing to move up front. Seeing if we can do anything with it here. I can get us maybe...
I mean, he's just coming into the picture there now, so I know he's down to 1.6 seconds behind Bivens, and I think he was around 2 seconds when I started watching, so, that was a couple laps ago, so he's coming. And it'll be interesting to see if he can get up there and if he has enough left to get around Bivens.
We'll see if he does have enough. John Osborne has now cut that distance between him and Brett Guzik in half already. Just that last lap. Continuing forward, Brett Guzik has lost 2 here on the night. Osborne gaining 9, looking for the 10th.
Man, it'd be really interesting to see where John would be if he didn't have that unfortunate incident earlier that caught him back through the field. So I think he's had to come through the field almost like twice tonight. So, if he didn't have to do it a second time, I wonder where he would be at.
Yep. For sure. Marshall Crocker falls down here. Down to the 9th position around David Lakey and Michael Ramos. John Osborne is where we kind of keep our eye on. Nickerson has come off about 3/4 of a second off Mark Allen Bivens. I wonder if Nick's got anything for him here. He hasn't fallen this far back since the lap 89 caution out there with Brandon Jackson and Kevin Foster getting involved. Okay, where'd Mark just go?
Bivens?
Dude, tell me it was a packet loss. Dude, was it a packet loss?
Oh, that's unfortunate for Mark. Oh, no, looks like he's back now. At least I see him on this timer.
There he is. Holy cow, that was a hard drop.
Yeah, it was. That's one that makes you nervous.
Oh, my gosh. Woo! All right. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. When you see something like that, normally it's when they fall off and you see them flying through the ticker like that, we've got a full disconnect. And that could be anywhere from internet drop to service drop to too much on iRacing, and they go ahead and dump the memory. And away you go. Fortunately, he is able to return. Ben, you've seen that a few times out there and driven behind people blinking. That's got to be scary.
It is. You just don't know if or when they're going to show up again, and hopefully you're just not morphed into their car.
Whew.
And makes it really fun, like say you're at a track like Daytona, if they're blinking, don't really want them behind you, and you don't really want to be behind them either, because that affects the draft.
Oh, yeah. And I've seen people where they're bouncing all over the track, upside down, into the wall, into the fence, facing you. Yeah, and I don't know whether to lift or not. It scares me.
Yeah. It looks like Bivens is kind of starting to walk away with this. That clean air probably really helping out his tires, too. When you're following somebody, it burns up your tires a lot more, so wouldn't be surprised if that's what the effect we're seeing here.
Wow. To me, it's almost like a poke in the eye there, is when you were able to just start driving away. I think you and Cody Welch and Nick Nickerson are the guys I see most often doing something like this, as you've got the lead, and I've never been in a comfortable 2.5 second lead and then just coast in that spot. You know, I'm always running for my life if I can get out in front. You know. All right, back out there in the chat here, Ben. Before I let you get to it here, Christopher Berg said turned in a Ben in the booth. Hell yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. So I don't know how you pull away with any sort of a lead out there. You can put that kind of a separation. Eddie Haggie's starting to turn it on now, trying to keep that 1 second gap from growing any larger. Nickerson going ahead and floating to the top.
Yeah, is Brett going to clear it? Yep. You know, speaking of being out front by a wide margin, I've had my fair share of those throughout the years, and they're almost more stressful than when you're running close in, because when you have a big lead like that, you're sitting there praying and hoping there's no yellow and you go green to the end. So that in and of itself is its own stress that you got to fight and battle with. It's just, you're like, please, 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 no, 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 no. And sometimes it comes out and just absolutely destroys it. So, but it is always kind of fun when you can able to wax the field that way, per se.
Yep. Keep an eye here. John Osborne being the more aggressive driver out here. How he's been able to drive this aggressive for this long is impressive. He gets Nick Nickerson behind him now, and then was starting to really apply some pressure there to Brett Guzik.
Yep. I say John is he knows when it's go time, and he's going to push for it. He's going to do everything he can to get up there. Just seems like kind of what I was saying earlier with that get stuck in that little pocket. That's kind of where it seems like he's been with Brett. Just can't seem to close that gap to get him up there close enough to even make a move on Brett. So it's tough to do.
Is that supposed to make fun racing when they design this car?
Welcome to the big debate. That's what everybody's saying. Everybody has an argument on these cars, whether they love them or hate them. Or I think they're a lot of fun to drive, but they do come with their own challenges of the way the draft package, the way the air comes off the back of the car, and so forth like that. It just makes it a little bit more challenging to do. So there's both pros and cons to it. It looks like John's got a pretty good run here, so we'll see what he can do with it. But these cars, I feel like you either have a love them or you hate them relationship. There's probably no in between.
John Osborne is getting a run, though, there on Brett Guzik. Gets him real close and then just can't seem to get any more power. And that might be exactly what you're talking about, is just that engine getting choked out. The closer he gets to the dirty air coming off of Brett Guzik's car. Right now he's got 10 laps to see if he can come away with one more position and maybe talk to us here in the booth at the end of this race. Yep.
Now, I like that approach that John's doing there. He's kind of diamonding that straightaway out, entering high and exiting lower. I'd almost probably maybe even try it a little bit more aggressive with it, just to see what type of run I can get on the straightaway, kind of try to make that straightaway as long as possible.
Look at this. Oh. John! I think he thought Guzik was going to come up into him. He looked like he was well in control. John rotates up a little bit there and goes ahead and gives a nudge to the wall. He has to hit the reset button, go for it again.
Yep. So if you can set up that corner there, you can, really make turns 3 and 4 have a lot of momentum as well. This track is very momentum based. So if you can keep that momentum high, you can make up a lot of time on people.
Wild race here so far. Nickerson may have fallen behind Mark Allen Bivens too long. Nickerson now falling down to 7th. Right now, tough race for the GFR team here tonight. Kevin Foster currently hovering in 12th. Osborne taking another look here to the inside.
It looks like Sean Britt's moved up to 5th and 6th, and McQuiggan's in 5th. So they've been steadily making their way up here.
Pretty wild when guys are able to turn it on here at this track. As Bivens has now separated himself another 0.3 over top of Eddie Haggie. And I think Bivens might drive away with this one unless we get a weird late race caution. I would say, Ben, if everybody stays out there, or if Mark Allen Bivens stays out there, everybody behind him is going to pit. Because I think most of these
100%.
guys do have an extra set down there. But if Mark Allen Bivens comes down, that'll do him in. I don't know if he can sling through 15 drivers in a matter of 4 laps.
Yeah, it's one of those things. If he stays out, everyone else will come in. You might have a few stragglers, but if he comes in, then I think it'll be a little more of a 50-50 split. But either way, if he's screwed either way at this point.
Now he's made his bed. Time to lay in it. Hopefully it stays green all the way to the end. John Osborne still looking a 10th off of Brett Guzik's rear bumper here. He's going to be looking for a shot. There it is, into the inside. John Osborne, can he hold him off here as the return exit speed is going to go to Brett Guzik? Here they are side by side, and we are currently seeing if Brett Guzik's going to clear him here, and not quite. Diving into 3 and 4, this will give John Osborne an opportunity here. Rotates up the track just a little bit. Guzik comes down, trying to close the gap and not give him any room to wiggle here. 4 to go.
Yeah, we'll see if John sends it in here and just tries a slide job, and if Brett follows.
Right, John going up. Oof.
There it is. Yep. Good move by John to see if Brett tries to do a crossover or not.
So would you call that some sort of an arrow block there? He got in front of him, and it looked like Brett Guzik had to make a hard stop.
Yep. Almost things are now where Brett smells. Yep, see Brett got in the wall a little bit. That's the arrow that was having the fight.
Not happy about that. Less than 5 miles left to go. 3 to go at the line. Mark Allen Bivens still leading this one by now 1.8 seconds. Try to shuffle it up here. All happened behind him, only half a second. Separates John Osborne and Eddie Hagge. This might give John a chance to catch up. Now that he's got a little bit fresher air out front. Brett Guzik seems to be suffering as he's caught in behind him. 2 to go.
Bivens just running away with it. Been a class of the field tonight.
I think he's led just about every single lap here tonight.
I know. I was looking at Marshall's thing. He said I was the all-time lap leader, I think, with like around 170 or something like that. But after tonight, I don't know if that'll hold true.
Yep,
We'll go on the last lap.
It's going to close the gap. That's for sure. It's going to close the gap. So Mark Allen Bivens, awesome job here as he drives away now 2 seconds. And everybody now starting to play a little bit of defense. John Osborne going to be holding on tight. He can get Brett Guzik to stay behind him, and he is. Not bad. Eddie Hagge across the line. John Osborne across the line to finish off the Everything's Bigger in Texas 135.
Yeah, great job to Bivens. Eddie Hagge had a great run, and John Osborne, would have been a lot of fun to watch Osborne and Bivens battle it out tonight, because I think those two probably had some comparable speed. Osborne having to come up through the field a few times, so that would have been really fun to watch if things would have gone John's way a little bit more.
But then trying to outsmart somebody as soon as you get to that position, that's tough to do.
Yeah.
All right, everybody working their way down in the pit as Mark Allen Bivens is going to go ahead and get his burnouts underway. See if we can get you guys populated with our unofficial results. Mark Allen Bivens getting away with a 2-second lead over top of Eddie Hagge. John Osborne in third. Pretty close for some of these other drivers, getting a squeeze in there just a little bit. Brandon Jackson finishing there in 20th, and then our last place driver, unfortunately, is going to go to Bill Harkins. Awesome job here by Mark Allen Bivens. Boy, has he turned it up this week. Well, this season. This guy's come
Yeah,
alive.
I was really going to say, this whole season, when he's in the races, I don't think he's been able to make every single one of them, but when he has been at the races, it's been it's been a different Bivens this season than I've seen in the past. There's a little bit more of a competitive edge to him, and usually I'm used to seeing him run about fifth or sixth, but now it's like he's up front running, leading the race and top three. So he's putting his foot down and saying I'm here, and I love to see that in the competition with him.
Yeah, no kidding. There, even Sergeant Townley out there is even noting that Michael Ramos is saying Ramos with multiple crashes and an EOL still ended up top 10 here tonight.
Yeah, I love racing with Ramos. That guy, he races clean, he races hard, he understands the big picture, but that guy is probably a lot faster than he and himself will give him credit for. I remember battling it out with him at a Auto Club for a win, and I got lucky. I'll just say that. He's a fast driver too, and I think a lot of people don't understand actually how good he is.
Alrighty. Thank you, Apex Sim Racing, out there for being our white flag sponsor out there for our last lap. We're going to cut away here for just a moment for a shout out from our sponsors. Go ahead and get our podium position drivers ready to go, and we'll have a chat with them here in just a second. Hang on there, guys.
Racing Oils is invested in winning. With industry-leading at-track support, superior engineering, blending technology, and the World Championships to prove it, LAT is your premier choice for racing lubricants. Used by NHRA Pro Mod champions Jose Gonzalez and Chris Thorne, along with their closest competitors, LAT Racing Oil continues to carry top-level racers to the winner's circle in all categories of competition. From engine oil to transmission fluid and gear oil, LAT has you covered from end to end in your race car. A nationwide dealer network means easy access to our products as well. Visit LATRacingOils.com for more.
All right, everybody, catching up. Third place finisher is John Osborne, man on a mission. He was on the roll there. How in the world were we going to slow you down here for a chat with us here in the booth, man? You were on a tear here for the last 30 laps. Did you think that car had it?
Oh man, my car definitely had it tonight. When I climbed all the way up to third, before the stage break, man, I just made a mistake, and I forgot to raise my brake bias up entering my pit stall, and I barely slid the nose through and didn't notice that I did, and so I had to back it up, and I restarted 10th, and then unfortunately, we had that quick caution. I was like, hey, I'm gonna come top off, so came and topped off, and then got involved in the 07 spin. Had to come down and fix damage. And that really just put me behind all night. I definitely had a car that could have won for sure. We had a lot of green flag racing tonight, which was a breath of fresh air. The car was really fast in the long run. I felt that I was probably one of the better cars in the long run. But there at the end, Brett held me up a good bit. He was downshift, and I refused to downshift. And so I waited and waited and waited, and finally, man, I just dove it into one downshift and was able to clear him, and then I was in. But I just didn't have enough to get to Eddie at that point. And with Mark having all that clean air, it was going to be easy for him. Clean air was going to be king at this track tonight, and unfortunately, I just never really had it. But great night. It's always a rarity when I can, pass my kind of teammate Nick. But he didn't put up too much of a fight. But yeah, man, very, very satisfied. Would have loved to finish 2 spots higher, maybe lead a lap and get a bonus point. But I will take a third, every week, unless it means losing a championship. But felt confident all night. Was a little bit more aggressive as the run went on because my car allowed myself to be. But yeah, I'm very, very satisfied. Hey, Ben.
Hi, John. Great run tonight, man.
Yeah, I missed you. Missed you out on the track, buddy. But hope you're having fun at your work thing.
It's been a blast, man. But it was a lot of fun watching you come up through the field, and I was telling Patrick, man, if could have been up there, whether it'd have been fun to watch you and Mark have a battle.
Yeah, that's what I was telling him before we hopped in here. I was like, man, I think I might have been able to fight with you. And unfortunately, I just, got mired in the back. Making passes and coming through a field, I think I did it 3 times tonight. That is a whole lot of fun when you just know your car is that good and it can get up there. Texas is one of those tracks for me. I just, I know how to run it and save tires, but I had a lot of fun tonight. I needed it. Had a hard day at work, and it was really good. But appreciate my team. Appreciate Ben. And Bob. I don't know where Cody went, but hope he's okay. Cody, if you're listening, miss you, buddy. Sad that Ben wasn't there tonight. I think Bob was kind of ho-hum here at Texas, but appreciate my teammates and thank you guys up in the booth. Thank you to Bill and Ben and Kevin who stepped in to kind of lead this season. So, I wish Coke still made Surge because I would be drinking one right now. Well, maybe not right now because I got to go to bed, but I'd be drinking one in the morning.
Attaboy.
And then, yeah, sir, I miss it, man. They brought it back for a little bit, and they're like, now we're gonna discontinue it again. But I don't know if my mom and dad are watching tonight or not. I know they're traveling to Florida, but I forgot to tell them that we were back racing tonight. But mom and dad, if you're watching, love y'all. Y'all be safe traveling. I'm sure you're at a hotel somewhere in Ocala, Florida. Love y'all, and it was a good night.
All right, John. Congratulations on bringing your only Toyota out here in the field to sit third here for the night. We'll see what you can do at Phoenix next week.
Oh, and I was the only Toyota in the field?
That's it.
I'm definitely running it next week. I need some redemption at Phoenix after what happened in the championship race last year. So I'm gonna come out guns a-blazing.
I figured you were pretty happy that wasn't going to be the final race of the championship, or if you make it another time. All right, John, good luck to you out there, buddy, and we'll let you get practiced up for Phoenix.
All right, we'll see y'all later. See you, Ben. Have a safe trip home, buddy.
Appreciate it.
They love you. All right, let's move to Eddie Haggy, who's currently sitting in that number 2 spot. Eddie, did you have anything out there for Bivens, or was he just too fast out there tonight?
No, I mean, I think we were just talking about it. I think me, him, and Nick were pretty similar. Like, I bet if you put any 3 of us in the lead, maybe we would have won the race. But Mark ran a great race. Dominant, really consistent, managed his tires. I thought I was getting him a little bit in stage 1, and then I don't know if he had more tire than I thought, or he just had the clean air, and then that was that. He kind of drove away after that. I love this league, and I don't want to criticize it, but Mark beat me on pace, but I was looking for any kind of advantage I had, and he drove through several pit boxes, and I was hoping race control would penalize him. They gave him a break.
Oh my gosh, I love it, dude. See, this is what I'm talking about, Benjamin. It starts here and then it trickles down. And then everybody, you hear them fighting in the background, and oh my God, what has happened? Oh my gosh. Well, this has definitely been an interesting race here for the number 97, seeing how Bristol went. Kind of got wiped out there, and then we end up coming away with a second place. I mean, I'm assuming this has got to make you feel a lot better going into next week over at Phoenix.
Yeah, I think Benjamin relates to this. So, like, we've kind of not run as well as, we think we should, and we're kind of closer to the playoff bubble than I think we want to be. And so this was a good race to get some points and some comfort. I like the momentum headed into the playoffs. I want to win, man. I'm tired of being second and third, but it's hard with this next gen. Like, it's really, this race and last race felt like if you threw me or any of the top 3 or 4 in the lead, we would have won the race. But it's like, how do you get to the lead? It's hard to pass the leader.
All right. I am checking right now to find out where you end up here in the points. Currently, you're holding on to 8th.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Well,
still
that's good. That's encouraging.
yeah, that's still good. You move up to this race. John Osborne moved up one. He's sitting sixth, and Mark Allen Bivens remains in the lead, but by only 15 points. So that is extremely close as he comes away with his second win here tonight. Boy, it makes you kind of take that. All right, well, you made it. You know, even if Phoenix goes well, you've got the round of 12 in the bag, but that round 8's going to start getting real tight. So you got to beat out a few of these guys like David Lakey, Ethan Sikorsky, Chris Bassinger, who wasn't here tonight, which I would say this is the time that everybody's going to attack. He lost 3 tonight, which is really a killer here. Kind of how do we offset this? And kind of when we go into Phoenix, what is your number one goal? I mean, we're looking for the win, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think if I just start the race, I should make the playoffs. The round of 12 is actually what I'm more concerned about, just because we have that Chicago street course race, and I'm a terrible road course racer. I don't hide from it, but what's a little encouraging about that, as opposed to a Watkins Glen or Sonoma, is it's so unpredictable. Maybe guys bust their butt and get in trouble, and maybe the point differential isn't too bad. But I feel good about the round of 8. I think it's 2 short tracks and then a super speedway, and I feel comfortable about that. So just one race at a time. You got to run the lap you're running, and so we'll try to win the race at Phoenix and then get in a points mentality the following week.
All right, man. Go ahead and give me a shout out to you, Eddie.
Yeah, man. The EP Wealth Advisors Camaro was great today, and I always love running for them. And Maggie HR Consulting, my 2 family companies. I love racing. I had a blast today. Love racing this league. Love talking to y'all, being a part of this broadcast. I'm just thankful to my friends and my girlfriend, the Lord, family, everybody that supports me and lets me do this hobby. And hopefully I'm the last guy to talk to you one of these next few weeks.
All right. That's a funny way of putting it. I hope I'm the last guy to talk to you. All right, Eddie. Congratulations on your second place finish, buddy. And we will hopefully catch up to you at Phoenix. Good luck, bud.
Thank you, guys. Y'all take it easy.
Oh, yeah. All right, and Benjamin Lacey catching up with our winner here of this race. This should be, I believe, his second time this time around as the number 76 once again in the victory lane here this season. I would say he's done a heck of a job there, Ben.
Absolutely. Mark Allen Bivens. What a run tonight, man. Let's got a couple questions here for you. One is what on earth is the speed you found this year? We were talking during the race, man. It seems like you found a different gear this year, and tonight you really proved that. So, talk me through your race, man, and where you able to find the speed tonight.
Honestly, I think it was mainly because of the clean air that just the dirty air that these cars give off, and like the drag they have. It's just, I mean, it was enough to keep me out in front, and I think. One thing, talking to a lot of people, seemed like nobody was really drifting, and
Uh-oh. Come on, Mark. Come back.
I was gonna say, is it just me?
I think we lost me for a second.
No, yeah. You said nobody
we
was
did.
really, I think you were saying lifting.
No, downshifting.
Okay, here we go.
I don't know if y'all guys heard anybody up front downshifting, but I mean, like the few people that I talked to, it seemed like nobody was downshifting at least near as much as I was. Because I mean, every single green flag lap in turn 1, I was going down to 4th, and it just helped me just get such a good run off the exit. And I knew that tonight the lap times were going to be super close, just looking at practice and everything and qualifying. And I screwed up my qualifying lap, and then luckily I was able to catch a break in turn 1 with Ramos getting sideways, and I would move to 3rd or 4th or whatever that was, and then just able to push my line through. Used up my tires a little bit to go take the lead at the first stretch, but luckily the clean air was enough to be able to hold everybody off. Eddie was tough in stage 1, and Nick's was super tough in stage 2, but able to lay it on him.
Yeah, we were talking about that too with Nick being right there behind you. Nick is really good at putting the pressure on you and making you make a mistake. How did you stay focused and say, hey, I can't worry about what Nick is doing behind me and play your defense that way, but also, doing your thing, keeping the clean air like that. How did you strategize your way to keep Eddie and Nick and whoever was in P2 behind you?
Well, funny enough that you say that because I was just saying to Eddie that Nick last week did that exact thing to me. He laid the pressure to me, and I used up my tires. And I think he was quicker than me anyway, but I was able just to. I mean, he was able just to make me burn my tires up, and so I knew that I wasn't going to let the same thing happen 2 weeks in a row. And I just held my ground, slowed up where I needed to, sped up where I needed to. Sometimes might have gotten a little bit too aggressive in 3 and 4. I think a couple times I overstepped. But one thing about Nick that I was noticing, he was pushing super hard off too, and he was saying that he needed to do that because, it was just he just was trying to find a lane, which it's what you got to do. But I feel like these cars are just so equal that you have to try to find any lane that you can, and luckily I was able to find the right line and be consistent with it.
Yeah, it's a great run over to all tonight for you. And now we're moving on. I think is at Phoenix next week. So talk to me about Phoenix. What your thoughts are there? You're going to be able to come out and race with us next week, and if you think you got a chance to win it, and how do you like Phoenix?
Well, I love Phoenix actually, and I really wish I got to race it. But next week we're going to be on vacation in Florida, which I guess that's why I really needed a good run tonight, was to be able to build enough of points buffer, which I don't know if hopefully we can keep the regular season championship. We're going to use a provisional, but I don't think we will. But either way, I think we're sitting for a good seed heading into the playoffs. So, whatever way next week goes, I'm just ready to go try to finish the job in the playoffs because, as the great Kobe Bryant once said, job's not finished.
Absolutely. I think the points were updated, and I think you have around a 15-point lead right now. And if you use a provisional, depending on where some of these guys finish, man, I think it's possible that you could wrap up the season championship here with you too. So that'll be a fun one to watch. And one more question here for you, and getting into the playoffs. What with this newfound speed it seems you have this season, where's your confidence level about being able to see your way into getting the trophy?
Well, I think I'm always confident, and I think this season I've just been able to hold my ground enough and be super confident in my moves. And I think this season I honestly have a lot more of the respect that I need because I'm notorious for being a bit of a burden these last couple seasons, but luckily this season I've been able to stay out of the way, and at least I think so. So I think that it's just the respect that I have from everybody and being able to make these moves and not have anybody turn any heads about it. And I'm just going to keep the speed that we got and head in the playoffs, and hopefully we can take home a cup.
I'll tell you one thing though, from a fellow driver to another one, it's going to be fun to battle with you. If I make the playoffs, it'll be fun to battle with you, man, and throw up a fight and see what we can do. A good friendly competition. So I'm very much looking forward to that, and it'll be a good time. And with that, man, give me your shout outs.
Yeah, I'd like to shout out everybody that helps me out, all my teammates, Kean especially, which sadly I didn't get to talk to him much tonight because my Discord lagged out around lap 60. It crashed, and then I hopped on Discord on my browser, and then I had that thing where I blinked out for like half a lap, so then I had to close it out, so that wouldn't happen again. So sadly I wasn't able to give some chatter going on there, but I guess it worked out in the end. I was able to stay locked in. But just everybody that helps me. Our Chevrolet Camaro had 3 speeds tonight, here, there, and gone. Able to lead 130 laps. So we're just gonna use this speed and go finish the job in the end. Also, one more thing. All right, folks of Fort Worth, on 3. 1, 2, 3. I hate the next gen.
Wow. All right, Mark.
Wins the race.
Wow. Wow. All right, Mark. Good luck to you out there, buddy, and we'll see how you do at Phoenix next week. You're on vacation. That's the joke. All right.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Good luck on the provisional.
Already forgot.
We'll see how you hold. Right now, you're only 15 ahead, so we'll hold our breath and see how we can do.
All right, appreciate it.
Yep. All right, and Ben, you better get your butt on the track. You just got bumped out tonight. Yep, you just dropped down to the 13th position, losing 5 on the night. Ugh. Yeah, you got to get your butt in there.
I got to get my act together and see if we can make a fight for it.
All right. How important is that job? No, I'm just kidding. All right. I appreciate all you guys for tuning in here at Simtrax. You got a little piece of Benjamin Lacey you guys didn't think you knew about him as we come to a close here at the Bandit Racing League. Once again, another commanding run there by Mark Allen Bivens. Eddie Haggy was close behind him, sitting second, and John Osborne with the respectable 3rd position. Next week, you'll find us at Phoenix, where normally we go ahead and knock out the drivers at the end of the season, but I would say this is going to be the end of the regular season and let these guys duke it out for the remainder, for the end of the playoffs there. And boy, well, they got something. We got short tracks, we got speedways, we've got road courses. I mean, they got everything in this one. I think it even finishes off with Charlotte, if I'm not mistaken. But I'll keep you guys guessing. Don't forget to go to the Bandit Racing League website out there. That'll definitely make sure you guys know. But that should do it for us here at Simtrax Broadcasting. Be well, be safe, be kind, and we'll see all you guys next time.